Lluvia Giacoman, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate this. How are you doing?
I'm very great, Addi. Thank you so much for having me on your show. How are you today over there on that side of the world?
It's a bit surprisingly, it's quite warm here in the UK. It's quite really humid. Usually, we always say when someone asks me what's it like in England, the weather, I always say, well, the only thing warm in England is the ice. So, yeah,
Well, you
that's
would definitely melt here in Las Vegas. We are about 109, I'm sure. So we're pretty up there, and it's only June, so can only imagine in
only
August.
June. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, July, wait, you got to get to July first and then get to August. That's how it's got to be
Right.
done, ain't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll be melted by then. We will absolutely be burned and melted by then. I'm
Believes.
surprised we're
Oh,
still on the
I
map.
hope not.
I know,
I hope
right?
not. No, well, thank you very much for coming on the show. We've been following each other's work for some time now. A mutual friend of ours kind of arranged all this. If he's listening, big shout out to Anthony Giovanni Elias. I had him on the show a few months ago, and he's just one of the most nicest, coolest individuals I've ever met, and he's just so easy to get on with. He has that good aura about him, and I hope to re-collaborate with him and yourself again down the line. We could do like a three-way podcast, and there'll be plenty of coffee around, so don't worry about it.
Yes,
Definitely.
absolutely. Yes. Shout out to Anthony. He's amazing. Thanks for connecting us.
Yeah, he deserves all the credit. So you've come a long way. I've followed your work from martial arts, acting, singing. I was actually listening to Breathe Again, which we're going to be talking about soon as
Oh,
well. Really, really, really good song. Do not be shy about it. You deserve it all. I was
thank
also
you.
watching Flower of Hope. Actually, one of the most beautiful short movies I've ever watched. Sincerely.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
No,
that.
thank you
It's
for
really,
producing it.
well, it's my pleasure.
Well, no, it was actually beautiful because it's kind of one of those stories that everybody can seriously relate to. Like you've been through dark times, and there's always something that can always help you regain hope, regardless of where you are in life, which we will talk about pretty soon. But you've also been doing your songwriting, singing, everything. I've seen the training routines you do, quite awesome. I got to admit,
Thank
you
you.
got good,
Thank you.
you got good kicks and everything. I have to admit to that.
Yeah, it comes from the martial arts, but I will say I gave my props to Anthony for making me look good because he is a big guy, and I'm
Yeah.
short, so I'm a short Latina. So to make a short Latina believably beat up a big tall man, it takes skill, and I gave all the props to him because uh, um, I'm just the body. He just tells me how to move.
God bless him. God bless him. But in all honesty, Lluvia Giacoman, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So, first thing I like to do for all my guests, it's a part of my faith, part of culture, is that when somebody takes a time out for you, you have to make prayer for them. So, I'd like to start off this podcast by making prayer for you. I pray that everything that you're doing in life, you become successful with it. That also goes for your loved ones. And everything that you do, you achieve everything, more success comes your way. And with martial arts, movies, singing, directing, producing, everything, you achieve greatness and you go very far in the field you're looking to work in. Amen to that. I'd like to do that
And
for you.
thank you so much. I appreciate the prayer. Thank you.
Number two, congratulations on all your accomplishments. Like I said, with movies, with martial arts, with singing, songwriting. Is there anything you haven't done yet, or anything?
Yes, yes. In fact, there is horseback riding. I really have been trying to find a way, and not that I cannot find a way. I just have not put enough effort into trying to do that. There's not a
Yeah.
lot in Las Vegas, but there is places. And horseback riding, I love horses. Horseback riding is just something I've wanted to do since I was a child. So I have yet to accomplish that, and also find a way to get my motorcycle license as well, so that I can do that. Those two things for me are my next goal, I suppose, and then I can utilize that in movies as well. So,
God willingly, that'll happen.
God willing, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And number three, this is one of the most important questions I'm going to ask you because my show is called Chat Over Coffee. In case we had the opportunity of meeting in person, how do you like your cup of coffee?
My coffee is actually black. I do pour a little bit of sugar in it or some honey, cinnamon, and give it a little extra taste, but it is black. And on the tough days, when I really, really need the extra love, I will add some creamer. So that's how you know I'm having a tough day, is if my coffee has creamer.
So I'll write that down and keep it on. I'll keep it on the side for you and everything. Okay. So, like I said, whenever you're here, we'll have that. So, like I've mentioned, there's coffee from all over the world, and I can brew it in many styles. So, yeah.
You have to tell me what your favorite is because I have not had that many. I have Colombian, Turkish, all those, but I've yet to try some different ones. So please, whatever you recommend, I'm here to listen.
Okay. Italian dark roast. I recommend that one.
Italian dark. Okay, I will
Italian
actually
dark
look for
roast.
that. I don't know where it's in Las Vegas. I'm sure it's somewhere in here. Vegas is a melting pot of everything, so I will look for it. Italian dark roast. I will write
Yeah.
that down somewhere.
No,
Okay.
it's great. To tell you the truth, I first had it. I first had a dark roast when I was in the city of Manchester. I don't know if you know it in England. And I travelled so many hours. I had to be at an audition at 10 a.m. So it was like a 2 hour train journey going there, which was fine. And as soon as I got there, so no, I can't go to the audition. Got to go grab a coffee. So they had a Tim Hortons. Went there, tried the dark roast. Went, where's this been all my life? This dark roast, and it was like the scene from Thor when he's drinking coffee and goes,
Nada.
"This drink, this drink, I like it." Another.
I
It's
love
like,
that. It's one of those like finds you're almost upset that you've been gone this whole time without it, right? You're like, I could have used
yeah.
this like so many years ago.
Mm. I 100% agree with you on that one. But yeah, so that's just me. I love coffee. I first tried it in Asia when I was 28. So I think of drinking, it's been keeping me young ever since.
Wow, and 28 years old. And I say this because I am like, Hispanic. So we started drinking coffee at a very, very young age. Because our grandparents would drink it, they'd come home. I'm sorry, we would come to the kitchen in the morning after we wake up, and we'd say good morning and everything. And my grandpa was already sitting down at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. with his cup of coffee. My grandmother in the kitchen as well, making breakfast with her coffee. And then I remember, if I recall, I don't know at what age, but she would give me hot chocolate to make me think I'm drinking coffee because I wanted to do the same. I said, I want some, I want some. And so they give me hot chocolate to not give me actual coffee. I just don't know when I was actually started to been given hot, coffee. But I do recall that since I was a little girl, I wanted to just be like adults and give me some coffee. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, especially the older generation. One thing that's always been amazing about them is they always left a good example for our generation as well. And it's like when you see them working every day, and it's like I just want to try that, give it a go, and see what this whole thing is. And then on, I was always inspired. I need to work. I want to get an experience, and it's a good thing to do that. Well, yeah, go work if you want to get a paper round or anything like that. And I just enjoy doing it just to keep.
yep, same thing. I started working when I was 15. I wanted to be productive. I wanted to help out at the house and see what I could do. And obviously, get my own little money for my own little side things that I wanted to buy and stuff. So it was nice that my parents did give me that trust and freedom to allow me to work when I was 15. I believe I started at the mall, like usually all teenagers do.
Yeah, that's true. We all have to start somewhere, but in order to achieve something else down the line. So diving into our interview now. What is your martial arts background, and where was the inspiration from?
So, I can tell you that since I can remember, I grew up as a tomboy. I wasn't a very girly girl, and I liked boxing when I was growing up. But I remember I got knocked out by a girl when I was like a young teenager, and I thought, maybe this isn't for me. And but nonetheless, I still liked it. I didn't continue boxing because of that reason, but I believe when I was like in my early 20s, I started taking on kickboxing for exercise, just for fitness, and I enjoyed it with the dancing and the Zumba because that's how they presented it at my gym with the kickboxing. And slowly from kickboxing, I started transitioning into other martial arts. I did get introduced to Krav Maga after that and did a little bit of Krav Maga for a while. And then I tried other classes just for the sake of to see what they were like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and Muay Thai. I did not actually end up staying with those disciplines because then the pandemic happened. So I took a break because of that. But when I did go back, one of my favorites that I never thought I would ever get to practice is Kung Fu. I grew up watching Bruce Lee and Jeet Kune Do and all the martial arts that I absolutely love. And that is when I discovered that here in Las Vegas we have it was a new gym. I think it was just fairly open a year, maybe or two ago, called K Star, and they were teaching Shaolin Kung Fu, Wushu style specifically. And I jumped on that opportunity right away as soon as I could, you know, pandemic allowing, and I started with that as well. I ended up having a little bit of an injury to my shoulder when I was doing one of the weapons. Not because of the weapon, because just, I'm getting older and my shoulder just kind of said, we're hurting right now. So I took a little bit of a break with that. And I had a friend of mine that I knew from the acting world. His name is Anthony Giacoman. He's a Muay Thai world champion. So he has a gym, and he kind of brought me back in so I could start maybe strengthening the shoulder and whatnot. So I started taking Muay Thai with him as well. So then I transitioned into Muay Thai. So that kind of has been it's just been like all over the place. And my intention was to always go back to Wushu eventually. I just haven't done so. But I also know that I did not ever properly take Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and I wanted to, short of a few classes here and there. So that's my two intentions with that, is going to actually study jujitsu if I can eventually, and also go back to kung fu.
Well, I hope it all works out for you. I mean,
Thank you.
whatever you're doing is working its charm on you and everything. I should say that.
Thank
And
you.
no, sincerely, because it's true. Whenever you exercise from a very young age, it's a good habit to build as you get older, because you started from a young age. It's working its way as you get older, and it keeps you young looking as well. It
Oh,
truly
yeah.
does.
And it's
I mean,
good.
I'm guessing. No, it's true, because I'm guessing you. I'm just guessing you're only 25, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Yes, I was
I'm in
right.
my
Yes.
late 30s, if I'm being honest, but I
No,
appreciate
no,
that.
no, 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 no. You honestly look about 25. I'm not blowing smoke. You honestly
Oh,
look about 25.
I am 25 until I am not. How about that?
You said that, not me. Okay, but I'll
Okay.
stick with 25.
I'll take it. I will take it, and I will keep it at 25. Appreciate that.
Yes. If anyone asks, how old are you? I'm just 25.
I'm
Addi
just
said it.
25. Abby said I'm 25, and that's what I am.
God bless you. So, what is your current fitness regime? Because I've seen a few clips of yourself on Instagram where you've been training, and I got to admit, it's very, very impressive. And you are proper keeping your own. You keeping up there. You keeping up with all the big lads who I've seen. And there's Anthony. It's true. He's a big dude. And the other people that you've seen you train with as well, they're quite big as well. But you're proper holding your own ground towards them. What is your current fitness regime? Is it a few 5 days a week or?
I honestly do not necessarily have one right now, because I recently transitioned into doing full time with the acting, producing, directing, and all that. The last few months, the last 5 6 months, I want to say. So my schedule has been all over the place, and with that being said, I would have not been able to establish a proper fitness routine schedule. I was doing about 3 4 times a week. I started off in the very morning doing some weightlifting and fitting in between those days, some cardio, and then maybe some training with Anthony as well on the side just to maintain. But last few weeks, because I was out of town and whatnot, I haven't done that. But if I can give you one, it would be that I've been doing like at least 3 4 times a week, training in the morning with just some weightlifting, just to strengthen, and then maybe one day a week for training as far as with martial arts with Anthony. That's pretty much what I've been doing.
That's really good. Like I said, just keep doing it. What you're doing, it's working great, and I wish you all the best for it as well, every single step
Thank
of the
you.
way. You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. No worries. So when did the idea come from to pursue acting?
Well, I wish I could say that it would happen when I was a child because that would have saved me a lot of time, but it didn't. I do because I mentioned I was a tomboy growing up. I always took a like to the females that were not girlies, that were always underdogs, if you will, that they weren't the pretty girl in school or like the pretty pink ranger or whatnot, right? And so I was always the other one. And because of that is like I said, grew up watching martial arts with my dad and my brother, and I like and all those sports. So when I started seeing women like Michelle Rodriguez in the movie, I think it's called Girl Fight.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and you know, are the other women, females that started doing martial arts and films. For me, I felt really seen and represented, even though I wasn't one of those quite yet, right? But I felt connected to those type of characters. So somewhere along the lines, I want to say when I was like 29 years old, I was in a place in my life where I was really trying to figure out what I really wanted to do. I had already gone to college and I was going to be an attorney, and I said, you know, I don't think it's. I like law. That's what I did for all of my 20s, but I don't think an attorney is something that will fulfill me. I like it, but not love it. So I was trying to find something, and one day I believe I was watching a show called Once Upon a Time, which is a great show, I think, and have really, really great actors there. And I was mimicking the villain, the evil queen. Just after the show, I was just like with my dog, I was talking to my dog, and I was just acting like the evil queen. And then I was like, somehow having one of those epiphanies where you're like, oh, you know what? I'm actually not so bad at this. Okay, this is kind of cool. I like this. I'm like, why can't I do this again? Like, why don't I just do this for work? And then I try to talk myself into thinking, well, what is it? Because I'm thinking, you know, oh, you have to start as a child actor. That I think that's the majority of the people's understanding. If you don't start when you're a child, it's going to be hard to get in later. And that's
yeah. That's true.
what kind of people tell me. And I think, well, that's not true, because if you really look at a movie, there's all kinds of age and sizes and colors. And I'm like, so those people started somewhere. And then I thought, for some reason, George Clooney came to mind. And I thought, well, what was the difference between me and someone like George Clooney? Why can he be in movies and why can't I? And I thought, well, the difference is he just went for it. He just decided to one day say, I want to look up acting, go and start trying to figure out how to do it. So I can too. I can do the same. And that is when I decided to try to start my search a little bit, and to say, okay, what does it take? What does it take? What does it mean to try to do acting? And I want to say maybe for about a year, I didn't actually pursue it in the sense. It was just an idea in the back of my head, and thought, oh yeah, the right opportunity will eventually find me. If I really want to look into it, I will. But I was, you know, when you're comfortable, you kind of don't necessarily want to shake the boat a lot with your steady job and whatnot, right? But something
Yeah.
happened where it ended up flipping a switch for me, where I thought to myself, you know, I probably should not waste any more time and should not wait for something to happen for me to pursue something that I really like and I am really, really interested in. And when that click happened about a year later, is when I truly, truly decided to look into what it takes to take classes. And as soon as I found, because it was going down a rabbit hole, and during my lunch hour, nonetheless, my work, um, I found the right classes, and from the class, just from taking those classes, I networked and found my way into this beautiful industry that now has taken me where I'm at right now. But it started with me just truly doing the research of where can I start. I just have to take step one, find where you can start with classes, and I believe from there they will be able to guide you where you need to go, or the next step, or the next people that you need to talk to for whatever comes next. And that is how it started, in the acting. And mind you, it was 2019, September, specifically September 2019. So the pandemic was just around the corner. I was only able to take about 5 6 months of classes before they stopped, because the whole world stopped. And then I had to find a way to continue doing this throughout the pandemic. So that's where it
No,
came.
that's good because obviously a lot of people just intended to just stop everything during the pandemic, but it's a good thing that you did as much as you could do at the end of it. And it's always best to work on your craft even when there's nothing there to do, isn't it? Because a lot of people just can't go out, can't do this, can't do that. But just find something to do every single step of the way. Because if you don't have anything to do, what else is there? You just sit there, go bored, and it's not good for mental health. It's not good for physical health. It's always good to just keep on moving. Even like I always say, if you've got nothing to do, go for a walk. An idea will come to your brain eventually.
Exactly. It is right. And I will say that is a turning point, I will say, for the film industry, because pre-pandemic, it was like the way it has always been. People would go audition in person and get hired for the job and whatnot. But what the pandemic did serve was a turning point, because now social media was the medium for people
Yeah,
to be able to withstand the pandemic, right? TikTok blew up, went right
yeah,
up because of that reason. People were utilizing it. They were using it to connect with people that they weren't able to anymore because the world was shut down. So that in itself changed the way people would now go into the industry. Instead of in person, now it would be Zoom call meetings. And you would think that after the pandemic was over, you would go back to in person, but they found that maybe it worked better. It worked better for actors to do it at home and in their comfort of their own home, and say, just give me a Zoom call, give me a self-tape audition, and I will give you a call back. And when it comes to a point where we do need you in person, then that's when you can come. So it changed that. And not to mention, it also changed with the way that um, the opportunities that are granted to you, because before, again, it used to be, if you're an actor, you have the opportunity to audition. And now it is, oh, you have a big following, big brands will come to you, right? They want you to promote their brand. If you are a person that is seen everywhere because you have a big following, movies, if you're in the movie for even a split second, even though you're not an actress, they want you there because you are going to promote their movie to your millions
yeah.
of followers. So unfortunately, it did open a door, and I don't want to, maybe unfortunately is not the right word, but I will say that for actors, it got a little bit not more difficult. It just changed a lot, and that really, really rocked their world, because it's a big, huge change. And it did open the door for people like influencers that are not necessarily trying to pursue acting to now have a platform for them to be even have these opportunities. So good for the influencers, but it is also in a way, um, unfortunately for the actors that are very, very much trying and working hard for their craft to be able to make it into a big film, but they don't have the following. It's not always the case, but it is seen in some cases where the preference is given to someone with a bigger following than the other. And it's very unfortunate, because then that kind of, it can discourage a bit for the person that is trying to work hard and work on their craft, and says, well, what is the point of working so hard on perfecting this gift, right? This talent of being great this and great that, when all I have to do is work on my social media presence, and I will amount a mass following, and I will get an opportunity coming, all the opportunities come at my door. So in that way, it did maybe unfortunately put a little discouragement sometimes in the industry, for that matter. But the pandemic changed the entire world. It changed for everybody, especially for entertainers. So everybody just had to adjust. Everybody just have to adapt. And just like AI, we're adapting with it as well. So
Yeah,
here
that's
we are.
true. Yeah. It is true, mate, because obviously the pandemic changed so much for people
Hmm.
everywhere they went, whether it's work wise, even actual human interaction has changed ever since as well. But this is still better, actually, when you actually stand there talking to somebody who's right next to you, because we, let's face it, we come from the era of there, we had no screens, we had no phones. The only phones we had was the house phone or the payphone outside. We had to go and run and use it. But
Exactly.
it's true, the part like that, the part of yourself will never change, especially when you come from that era.